Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Refresh, and Refresh is a series which I document giving cars a new breath of life through detailing, TLC, and sometimes repairs too. I hope by doing this series it helps enrich car enthusiasts with more knowledge about cars which I learn, and also inspires more people to give some TLC and care to their cars. And in this very special and personal episode, I'll be showing all the challenges in Refresh of my very own classic Mini, which includes getting rid of the disgusting and quite hazardous mold in my car, sending it to the workshop, which includes a repair bill way more than I budgeted, and detailing the Mini with my friend Ryson at Miyagi's, which turned out to be one of the most unexpectedly labor-intensive detailing project for such a little car. Hint, there is a lot of finger and hand polishing. All of it in this episode of Refresh. But before we start, if you like this episode, it will do me a huge favor to smash the like button. Thank you very much. And if you want to watch more Refresh projects like this, be sure to hit the subscribe button to my channel. I create content for car enthusiasts, which includes reviews and live talk shows about cars. And I'm a huge fan of personal empowerment as well, so I do talks about personal finance and mindset as well. So if you don't want to miss any of that, please hit the bell notification after you hit the subscribe button so you won't miss out of any of the content in the future. And with that, enjoy this episode of Refresh. The Mini, probably the most iconic shape and name in the world of automobiles for car enthusiasts and non-car enthusiasts. Just take a look at it, it's hard to not love this car, and I've always wondered how it's like to drive them. And when my friend Chong told me about his friend letting go of his Mini Classic, I just had to take a look. And if love in first sight was real, this is it. After seeing it in my own eyes, in less than 2 minutes as a passenger, I was sold. I wanted it because I loved it. So voila, I'm the new proud owner of this classic Mini, and so the refresh journey begins. Now the first thing I had to fix with the car was the front suspension, which was busted and worn out, and the second gear feels fussy most of the times. So I had to send it to the workshop, but I couldn't, because on the way home driving my Mini for the first time, I had a horrible allergic reaction. My throat was inflamed and it was hard to breathe by the end of the drive, and the skin on my arms and legs were inflamed. And when I finally realized it was too late, the car was full of mold and I was very allergic to them. So I had to get rid of most of it so it's safe enough for me to drive it to the workshop and for the mechanic to fix the car up. So when there is mold, there's always the source of it. So after 10-15 minutes of good searching, I gave up and I started the cleaning process. But as I started vacuuming the passenger side carpet, I discovered something disgusting. But apparently, I can understand why the mold is growing like crazy in here. You can see this. It's completely wet. It's soaking wet. You see that water leaking down there? So apparently something is leaking. I'm not sure where it is, but we're gonna have to find out. I'm gonna send this to a shop to figure out. But for now, has to be out, and it's really just, you can see that it's completely wet down there. So that's gonna. The spongy material underneath the carpet was drenched and soaked in disgusting moldy water. Apparently the culprit was the aircon pipe that was leaking into the cabin, which was located at the passenger side footwell. So I tore up the spongy bit and threw it away because there was no way of saving it. As for the carpet, I decided to clean it up properly. Now, to get rid of mold, you can use a 50-50 mix of white wine vinegar and water. You can spray it on the moldy surface at least for a minute before scrubbing them. In this case, I sprayed them liberally. Despite the size of the car, it took me 3.5 hours to clean the interior, as the interior was pretty filthy, and it's probably not clean much as the black interior does disguise a lot of dirt. So after I'm done, I soak up the car carpet and suspected mold areas with vinegar and left it overnight. The next day, I cleaned up the aircon vents with Bluechem's KlimaFresh. It's designed to kill 99% of microorganisms in the aircon vents. And what I love about this product, that is made by a reputable company in Germany and certified by TUV to be allergen free. Now this process is so simple that you can actually do it yourself. Now first, switch off the AC and set it to the highest temperature, and then set the fan speed to max for 5 minutes. Once that is running, you pop the bottle in the footwell of the front passenger area. Switch on the AC now to the coldest temperature and shut the door. Now you let it run for 3 to 5 minutes and voila, you're done. I highly recommend doing this for your car once every 6 months, as we live in a hot and humid country, especially in Malaysia, perfect for mold and bacteria to live in our aircon vents. And you can buy one of these online. I highly recommend NSS Group at Lazada store, as they're the official distributor, so it guarantees the authenticity of your product. And it only costs roughly around 50 ringgit for your health. I'll place a link in the description below if you're interested. So the car is finally safe to drive, so I sent it to Ben, a Mini Classic specialist in Kepong. And after deeper inspection, Ben found more issues like the engine mounts cracked and a gearbox casing cracked as well. So I thought that if Ben is going to pull out the engine, we might as well just give the gearbox a full overhaul and repair, and address any other parts that might need attention as well. So after a good 3 weeks, the list of repair just grew and grew, and it certainly did burst my budget many times over. So I'm going to walk you through the parts that were changed during my collection day. So most of you who got dampers, you know there's supposed to be a gas strut, right? But for Mini Austins and Minis, you don't have that. You have this piece of rubber. This is mine, which they took it out, and it's completely hard, so it's no longer flexing, so you don't get that damping power from the car. So the problem was the previous one that was installed is smaller than it's supposed to be. So as a result, it eats in deeper like this. Okay, so now this one is considered that there's no more damping because it's hard, and that's the bottom of it. Okay, so this is how it's supposed to look like. Let me show you. You can see it's gone, right? So it's supposed to have more damping. Now this one is not a new one, but you get it, right? And it's supposed to be, this thing is supposed to be bigger like this, right? So then it uses more of the rubber for the damping. Okay, so yeah, so wrong spec causing faster wear and less comfortable ride. So all these are the parts that we need to change. Let's start with the casing for the gearbox. So if you look over here, you can see that the casing cracked, right? So rather than waiting for this to crack and then the engine oil will, you know, leak and all those mess will happen, he said change this. So we did change this, and you can see that this is the thing that mounts onto it, cracked, right? So that's a risk. We don't have any risk. Now this is the gear ratio. It's gone. So this is one of the part of the gearbox. This one is supposed, can you see over here? It's shaved. A lot of parts, guys. Now, one of the complaints I have with this car is that in gear 2, my car, when I downshift from gear 3 to gear 2 on high speeds, it starts to rattle, and sometimes at the most violent part, it will kick the gear out of the stick out of gear 2, which is quite bad. So it is all caused by one of these guys over here, right? Rather than changing one, we change all 4. So all this for 4 years, we'll change this one. Okay, and we found, and then, you know, since we are changing the gearbox, we're opening up, he recommended we change the clutch pack anyways, and we did. And when we opened it up, we found out that the clutch pack is starting to wear. You can see that it's even starting to crack. Okay, this is interesting. Now, first of all, he resprayed the engine, which is pretty darn cool. Black color, how it's supposed to be like. As you know, I like the vanilla. He did quite a nice touch. He tried to do blue color because matching the car's blue color, although the color is a bit out, but can accept that. He also helped me change all the rubber pipes as well. He's using this sports, Samco sports rubber parts. Silicone pipes, so it will last longer. As always, older cars, especially Continentals, the rubbers are always the one that starts giving out first, right? Due to weather, sun. The silicone pipes does last a little bit longer. So we changed all of it over there. And here's a surprising discovery. There was no thermostat, number 1. So there's no thermostat. So the thermostat is the trigger. Someone's selling stuff over here. What happens is, if you don't have a thermostat, there is no... A thermostat is the one that picks up whether the engine is hot or not hot and determines whether it needs cooling, right, with the coolant. So there was no thermostat, and the only way to trigger the cooling system, which is here, is to turn on the aircon. So the question then stands, what if I don't want the aircon and I'm driving with my windows down? Then my engine wouldn't have had any cooling whatsoever. So this is good, this is a lifesaver. Thank you so much, Ben, for figuring this out for me. I would have no clue how it's supposed to look like. So he went ahead and changed that. Rewired in such a way that it will go on when the engine is hot, independent of the air conditioning. So yeah, the gearbox should be feeling great. I can't wait to drive this car. But thank you so much, Mr. Ben. Ben is the guy who runs this shop. It's over here. WingPing, CarAir and Wiring Service Center. It's Ouyang Kepong. I'll put the link in the description below. So that's it. Right? That's it. That's all of it. Okay, there's Mr. Ben. Say, Mr. Ben. Say. Now with all of that fixed, we are now ready to detail. Next up, Miyagi's. Before I start, I let Ryson get behind the wheels of the Mini to experience the signature go-kart feel. Just Ryson, try out the Mini. Amazing, huh? Yeah. Ryson is not just a detailer, he's a car enthusiast, so I love to share my joy.
Oh my god.
It feels fast, right?
It feels very fast.
But it's not that fast. And all these lorries feel very scary. So what's your first impressions?
Oh, very cocky.
Very cocky.
Very choppy engine as well. He wants to go,
Yeah.
Woo! Oh, the car feels like solid.
Alright.
Like new.
Yeah. After that short fun drive, we headed back to the studio to start off with the detailed wash so we could inspect what work we need to do to give this car a refresh. So with the car completely clean, we start out the inspection. There are swirl marks and deep random scratches all over the body, and that's likely caused by improper washing techniques. There are some cat claw marks on the rear as well, and these are caused by cats trying to climb on the car. And the roof is a little bit off-white, which I think we can fix with a little bit of polishing and paint correction. Now because the car was stored indoors most of the time, there are no water marks, which is a relief. But there are other concerning areas like rust spots on the fender and also the rear body panel. Now this can't be fixed with detailing, so I'll probably repair the rust and respray it after a year or two. But for now, I'll just leave them be. Overall, the car's paint is not bad as it was repainted before. There is, however, a large, long scratch on the hood which is very obvious. Now once satisfied with the inspection, we started removing parts like the side mirrors, emblems, and the grille, and the rear number plate holder, which proved to be quite difficult due to excessive use of double-sided tips. Oh my lord.
Then they put 8 strips. You see how there's like, it's too much tape.
Yeah, overkill. That was exciting. Then Ryson starts the paint correction process, but first he does a test panel. Now this is something new to me, so I asked him about the whole test panel process.
A lot of people would like to do a test panel in a little bit more inconspicuous areas, like maybe at the back of the bumper or something.
Yeah.
But it really depends on your confidence level, because people are worried that they might damage the paint before they actually start doing any correction. Usually I will just test it on the hood, because the hood is where most of the damage is already at. And it's nice to check with the light. Yeah. Okay, to do a test panel is because a lot of car manufacturers, right, their paint is very different. From brand to brand, from even under the same brand, from a different model to a different model, all the paint system is different. Even if you do have the that same exact make and model and came from the same factory, I can assure you that the paint is always a little bit different. So it's important that we test it to know how hard it is, how soft it is, how it reacts to different pads we use, or how it reacts to different compounds, polishes. It matters because some paint just doesn't like certain pads or certain compounds. It either can't cut, or it can't finish, or you get a different imperfection that you need to do maybe another extra step to finish. Yeah, that's why we always say it's like a 2-step, 3-step paint correction, because it's not always like one pad, one compound, perfect. Sometimes it's 2 pads and 2 different compounds, or maybe 2 pads using the same compound. So we test so that we know what is the best. We must always see what comes out afterwards, then we know whether to go more cut or less cut.
I see.
Or more speed, less speed, higher arm speed or lower arm speed, all sorts of factors. We change as we see what comes out.
Got it.
Yes.
Alright, so let's take a look at this right now. I think this is a great moment to clarify what is polishing and what goes behind detailing. See, a good portion of car enthusiasts may think that waxing is polishing or polishing is waxing, and they both do the same thing. They both make the car look nice and shiny, but in actual reality, they both are very, very different. See, waxing is adding a layer of wax on top of the car, while polishing is the opposite. It's actually removing layers off the car. That's what Ryzen is doing. But why would you do that? See, the act of polishing cuts away layers of clear coat because the top surface might be contaminated or damaged. So when you cut it all the way, it reveals a more smooth and even surface. So the car has more sheen and luster. And more importantly, and this I have to stress, it helps the application of ceramic coating or paint sealant. See, these chemicals are designed to bond on the paint. And the cleaner, the smoother the surface, the stronger the bond. And the longer it lasts, and the shinier your car will look. So those are all the prep work that's important in the detailing process before adding on the coating. Now the art of polishing is not as simple as just picking up a machine and just running it through the car. Polish too much, you might strip away all the paint and reveal the body. Then it's a whole respray job again. Polish too little, then you won't have the effect that you want. So this process has to be approached with a high attention to detail and done meticulously, and that's what Ryzen is doing. Now back to the test panel, let's see how it looks like after the first pass.
Okay. So you can inspect, you can see that we've already removed a lot of the lighter swirls, but there are still a lot of deeper swirls left that are what we call random isolated deep scratch.
Yeah.
So you can see the difference between just this top half and then here. You can already see the depth of the color is coming out, but we are not actually solving the random scratches. So I need to go for a stronger cut to get into this. Then I will use the compound now. Then I wouldn't have to polish.
Yeah, but it seems quite easy lah.
It's alright. It's
alright. Yeah.
A matter of understanding what you have, how to make it better.
Oh man, not from the camera but from the eyes you can see already.
The color is.
I can't wait for it to finish, man.
This is a difference already.
Oh, I cannot tahan, man.
While Ryzen works on the body, I task myself to 2 most unexpectedly annoying and painful parts of the car. First of all, I have to finger polish all the nooks and crannies of the car, and there are many areas that are not reachable with the dual action polisher. Take for example this drainage of the hood. It's actually hand bent to create the drainage system, and there is no way I could fit a dual action polisher in it, so I have to use my fingers. The next was to polish the metal bits of the car. At first I tried to use my fingers, but it took forever just to get the part done, and it didn't look as good as I wanted it to. So Ryzen suggested I use a small dual action polisher with a microfiber pad using Authorized metal abrasive, and it worked wonders. My fingers thanked me for it. Now it's not perfect, but it certainly makes the metal pop out a little bit more. Now both tasks were extremely time and labor intensive, but boy it was worth it, as you'll see in the end of the episode. Now Ryzen, on the other hand, unlike me, is making great progress with the first step paint correction. And here I want to show you why it's important to protect your paint.
I just want to show you the reason why you need to protect your car with either sealant, wax or coating, something. So just hear the sound, right? Okay, nothing. And I come here, look at the color changes. You hear that? That's all the dirt that's baked into the paint. Hear that? So the thing is that water is not just clean, it carries dirt, it carries
dust, brake dust, whatsoever, and it bakes into the paint under heat, right? So we need that sacrificial layer, you need that one layer of sealant or wax to take that. Yeah, so simple tip like that. Just really want to show you guys, right? Hey guys, so we're here in day 2. So I've just learned something really interesting and I'd like to share with you guys about metal polishing. So Mini Cooper and especially the older cars, you have actual real metal versus the modern cars where you have plastics wrapped in chrome. So it's a very different surface to work on, and I made some mistakes. See, with for metal polish, you can get something like this. It's highly abrasive. I make the mistake of not assessing what kind of metal I'm working on. So like on the rear bumper and the front bumper, they were actually aluminium. So aluminium is actually extremely hard. So I used the machine to, at first I used my fingers to polish, which didn't look good. And then Ryson asked me to use the dual action polisher. And we did it, it looked fantastic. I thought, oh, okay, we can do this for the rest of the car. Not knowingly, I went to the rear fuel caps and I started polishing it. And it just, I lost the shine in the metal. I kept going on. I thought that there's something wrong with the machine, there's something wrong with the abrasive. I went 2-3 times and it just started looking like it's faded out. And that's a big mistake I've made because those metal caps are steel, and steel is actually iron, carbon, but still softer than aluminium. So I should have hand polished that versus, you know, it was a great lesson to assess the metal before I start polishing.
So with lesson learned and most of the metal parts polished, I proceed to steam clean a few more parts of the car which have some mold left over. Now most of the mold were around and in the rack top or sunroof area. Now remember there's a big scratch on the hood, here's how it looks like right now. It's not completely gone, but Ryson did remove majority of it. Now we decided not to chase it anymore in risk of overburning the paint, and we leave it as it is. Now we suspect it came from the attempt to remove a tough stain like bird poop or tree sap, which resulted in the deep initial scratch and then a long swipe to the right. Now, ask any detailer, they will tell you that most of the damage comes from poor washing techniques or uninformed car enthusiasts. Sole marks and deep scratches like this can actually be avoided. That's why it's my personal belief that the best investment you can do to make your car look great is not the latest coating or PPF, but rather it's something way simpler. It's either learn to wash your car properly or send it to a professional car wash every single time, or use a contactless solution like Pro Nano. If you want to find out more about Pro Nano, check out Evo Club Car Wash. I'll put the link in the description below. For the coating, we're going to use IGL Coatings Poly. Although it's the entry-level ceramic coating, there's a lot to be liked about. First is the ease of application. Secondly, it's the value for money. Other than the ceramic coating, this box includes the pre-coat isopropyl alcohol mix, the ceramic maintenance solution as well, and the applicator pad. Great for a home detailer like me. Now after applying a layer of poly and buffing it off, we left it overnight for the first layer to cure before adding the second layer on day 3.
Hey guys, so we're back here in Miyagi, we're on day 3. Day 3 and we are now screwing everything back, all the little bits and pieces. And I can't wait to get this guy outside to try. So here we go. Hey guys, we're here in Miyagi and we're at day 3 of the Mini. You can see you've got a guest here, Baldwin. Say hi to Baldwin. Baldwin is here to help me fetch the Mini back and then extra driver. So thank you so much, Baldwin. Right, check out his Instagram, the red Scarlet. Scarlet is SLK. Link in the description below. Alright. So look at that. Oh, I just cannot believe how good this car looks. It was looking good, but I just never expected it to be so good. Yeah, I'm extremely satisfied with this, beyond any question. Is that part of owning a car, the ownership experience is to care for your car. So some people always ask like, why would you want to wash your car?
why you want to clean your car, polish or detail your car, because that's part of another extra layer of the ownership experience. And just as for me, and I hope that by doing these videos, it helps you to find that level of enjoyment with your car as well. Even it's washing, whether it's cleaning your tires, maybe it's taking to the workshop, it is part of the ownership experience, right? So yeah, this is it. We're going to run over to Mr. Miyagi himself. Your favorite part of detailing this car?
Oh, definitely is bringing the color back to life on the paint. When it came, it was full with contaminants, swirl marks, the kind of thing, light and heavy scratches all around. Yeah. Doing the paint correction, compounding, removing the scratches, and then seeing the color come back to life, and you see that purple hue come back. Oh, that's the best part. The color, the 50-50 shot. Yeah. When you see that, then you know, like, okay, I want to just finish the car as soon as I can. I want to see it in its final state,
You're right, man. When you did the 50-50 and the purple hue came out, I was so excited. I was like, wow, how's it going to look like with the paint correction and the coating?
Yes. It looks wet. It's like liquid, like just wet all the time.
Yeah.
So you know what, the paint is really moisturized and like just wet.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for your work, man. And I learned so much with Ryson. And I think you guys can agree with the camera, it looks good lah. So you're gonna find out. Alright, come on to Miyagi, send him a message, highly recommend. Baldwin is promoting that as well. So sometimes it's good to find a good detailer. And I think one thing special about Ryson is that he's a car enthusiast. There's a difference, he's not just a detailer, he's a car enthusiast himself. So yeah, pretty much done. Anything else, Ryson?
Just take care of it. Make sure it looks good all the time, wash it often. Yeah, come by once in a while because I want to drive it.
yeah, I'll do that. I'm happy to do that for sure. So yeah, this is this episode of Refresh. It's been a month, the whole project, but absolutely worth it. So to find out more episodes of Refresh, do subscribe to the channel. Next up, we've got another very, very rare car. It is one of the 2 in Malaysia. I won't tell you what car it is. It starts with a B, that's the brand name, okay? One of 2 in Malaysia, it's a classic, and me and Ryson are going to work on it. So if you want to find out more about that, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you won't miss any of the episodes in the future. And don't forget to like if you enjoyed this channel or enjoyed this video. With that, we're going to sign off. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know in the comments below what you think about my beautiful Mini over there, alright? I'm going to sign off right now and go and enjoy this car. Love you guys. As always, stay safe, take care, and keep it at 100%. Right, peace out.